Good morning. I'm going to continue with the book of Judges, and here we get to the story of Gideon, a not often told story of Gideon. And in Judges chapter 6, we read, most of us, or if all of us, have never been under an oppressive government where, whether as Christians or as a minority race, you are oppressed to the extent that these people, the Israelites, were oppressed under the Midianites. Remember, Judges, a period of 325 years where Israel sinned and God punished them by making the Canaanites oppress them, and then God would raise up a judge to help them fight. So in this case, we read of the Israelites doing evil in the eyes of God, and God handed them over to the Midianites for 7 years. The Midianites were so cruel that the Israelites fled to the mountains, where they made hiding places for themselves in caves and dens. And whenever the Israelites planted their crops, marauders from Midian, Amalek, and the people of the east would attack them camping in the land, destroying crops as far as Gaza. They left the Israelites with nothing to eat, taking the sheep, oxen, and donkeys, and these enemy hordes coming with their cattle and tents as thick as locusts. So it was a terrible situation that whenever you plant a crop, they would destroy it. They would take all your animals, your livestock. So you have to go to the really remote areas to hide in remote valleys and ravines and caves. So much so that it went on for a while, 7 years. It says here that they cried to the Lord, and God sent them someone to help them. So this someone was Gideon, and we read of the story of how the angel of the Lord appeared to Gideon and said, "You are going to rescue your people." And he said, "Oh, no, not me. my family is so poor. I'm so poor. How can I be used for this purpose?" He said, "Yes, you are." I said, "Okay, how can I know you are real?" So Gideon asked for some signs. He said, "Okay, tomorrow, this evening, if there is if there is going to be dew fall, this piece of fleece that I lay out, let it be dry. Then I know that it is you, Lord." So next morning, there was huge dew fall. Everything was wet with dew, but the fleece that was left outside was dry. Is that, oops, okay. No, that's not enough. I need another sign that tomorrow, this evening, if there's no dew, but this fleece that I leave out is wet with dew, then I'll believe you and I will go. So the next morning he woke up, everything was dry, but the fleece he left out was wet with dew, and you could wring it out that was wet. There's no disagreeing that it was wet. So okay, what is he going to do? It has been proven that the Lord has appeared to him. So the angel of the Lord said to him, "Okay, first thing, go and tear down your father's altar to Baal." Is that these were Israelites, and they had altars to Baal, and also pull down the Asherah pole and burn it, which he did. It's like, and that incensed the people. His family said, "What the?" So he said, "Why are you angry?" They were going to destroy him, but he said, "If your God is real, let him defend himself." So they changed Gideon's name to Jerubbaal. Let Baal defend himself. So the next day, or next few moments, God required him to raise an army to fight the Midianites. So he called for volunteers. There were a huge number of volunteers from the tribes around him. The Israelites were sick and tired. They wanted to join in the fight to destroy the Midianites, but God looked at them and said, "There's just too many. I don't want the Midianites to say, 'Of course we lost,' because there's so many of them. So he said, okay, tell the people, those who are afraid, timid and afraid, they may leave and go home. And there were 22,000 of them that left. So there was a smaller group left. And the Lord said, still too many. Okay, take them down to the river and see how they drink water, okay? Some would scoop up the water from the stream to drink. Others would just put their mouth into the stream to drink the water. Okay, he says, God said, choose those who would cup the water in their hand to drink. And only 300 of them did that. And that was it. 300 men to fight the huge Midianite army. And that night they were to prepare themselves. Each of them have a ram's horn and a earthen jar. So Gideon says he divided the 300 men to 100 groups of 100. He would take the 100 first and go straight outside the camps of the Midianite. And then as the Midianite was sleeping in the middle of the night, they would sound the ram's horn, boo, 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 break the earthen jar, making so much noise, such racket. Midianite said, oh, then the rest would do the same too. So you see from the valley up, you have people sounding the ram's horn, breaking the wedge jar. It's like, is this the way to fight a battle? Okay. The Midianite said, oh my goodness, how many of them are there? So they ran off, and Gideon chased after them. So they were still chasing after them. And I think the Lord destroyed 120,000 of them were killed. And there were only 15,000 of the warriors left. And Gideon was now chasing the two kings, Zebah and Zalmunna, kings of Midian. And he caught up with them and said, you know, my people that you killed, what were they like? And the king said, they were like you, Gideon. They all had the look of a king's son. They are like you, Gideon. They all had the look of a king's son. You and I, we all have the look of a king's son. Don't forget that. So Gideon said to them, they are my brothers. As surely as the Lord lives, I wouldn't kill you if you hadn't killed them. So Gideon turned to his older son and said, kill them. But he couldn't because he was a child. So the two kings, Zebah and Zalmunna, said to Gideon, he taunted him again and said, don't ask a boy to do a man's job. Do it yourself. Which Gideon did. He slaughtered both the two kings. And there were other things that he did. And the Israelites said to Gideon, be our ruler, be our king. You and your son and your grandson will be our rulers, for you have rescued us from Midian. But Gideon replied, I will not rule over you, nor will my son. The Lord will rule over you. But I have one request. Bring me an earring out of the treasures that you've taken from our fallen enemies. And it says here that the enemies, being Midianites, and they're also known as Ishmaelites. They wear earrings. So when they slaughter them, they took from them the earrings. He said, give me one earring each from each person that you took. And then they collected a huge amount of gold earrings, and which Gideon melted down and made a sacred ephod from the gold. But it became a trap for the Israelites. They worshipped it, which later they apostatized themselves. When Gideon left them, he won't be their ruler. He went home to his little village. And it says that For a while they did believe in God, and later they forget. The reason for this, is as much for myself than for you, that I will continue to stay in touch so that I will not forget the Lord and apostatize and say, who is God? And be like the people around me. But rather to continue in this, that it is my own study too. There's nobody else who learned the most than I do in this exercise. And I have a secret also. I said to myself this morning, I hate scoffers. I've talked to so many people and they just scoff. It's like, it's all written later, made up. And as I go through the archaeology, is so amazing that if we do need a sign from God, we can ask it. And like Gideon, he will show you. He will give you dreams. He will give you visions. Like Gideon tested God. He said, show me that you're true. If there's dew fall tonight and this fleece remain dry, then I know you are God who spoke to me. That wasn't enough. He said, if there's no dew fall and the next morning, this fleece is wet with dew, then I know you've spoken to me. And it was true. Everything was dry overnight, no dew, but the fleece was wet and you could wring up. I mean, there's no mistaking, it's wet. If you have any doubts at all, ask the Lord to give you a sign. He will. He will. I know that. And each day as I pray on my knees, that the Holy Spirit will continue to convict me, will continue to give me this spiritual desire to continue this work, even though I don't even look at the numbers. I just do it. As I said, don't censor yourself. Just do as the Holy Spirit leads and guides you. And St. Paul, in one of his epistles, said, nothing you do for the Lord is ever lost in this life or the next. Serve the Lord with gladness, I pray.